3 meets up in that area. Jessup, Elmville possibly, and also Loudon. Make sure that you are taking heed, and hopefully you're watching us in the basement right now, if at all possible where you live. Then you've got the Local 12 weather app with you. Of course, remember the idea is to get as many walls between you and the outside, get into the center of the house if possible, on the lowest floor, away from windows, in those areas, Brown and Highland, or excuse me, of Highland and also Adams County, where we have the tornado warning till 6:30. Cover your head if possible. If you got a bike helmet, have that standing by too, and some blankets and pillows. In this area, John, the tornado warning continues until 6:30 for portions of Adams and Highland County. That's still 6:30. Severe thunderstorm warnings are also along this line of storms. John was pointing out the fact that they have a tendency to you can see the kinks in the line of storms. And if you look at this time in this area, as a matter of fact, you'll be able to see what we're talking about there with the storms. This is the the typical base reflectivity that we show you. There's the tornado warning up to the north, and you can see the storms just kind of the wavy pattern that's in place from Hillsborough on down to the south. So take cover at this time. And at this time, John, I don't see any confirmation from any of the weather watchers right now, other than the fact that from the analysis at the Weather Service, that the storm is organizing right along that border of Adams and Highland County.
Yeah, I just want to make it clear that this is not a situation where we have those individual supercell thunderstorms that will produce strong tornadoes. That is not the situation we have here. These are QLCS tornadoes, quasi-linear convective system tornadoes. What are those? Those are tornadoes that can spin up briefly. They're typically very small tornadoes. They may only be on the ground, if they form, for a minute or two tops. So it's akin to finding a needle in a haystack here for the Weather Service, trying to issue the tornado warnings along this line of storms as it moves across Highland, Adams County, and now as it's moving through Lewis County, Kentucky, where there's a tornado warning, as Paul mentioned, just outside of our viewing area there. Lewis County, not our area of coverage here, but nonetheless, we know we do have some viewers down there in Lewis County. So if you're in Lewis County, Kentucky, you are under a tornado warning down there now as well for another Doppler radar indicated tornado. The good news in all this is once this line of storms clears our viewing area, and that's going to happen in less than an hour, then the threat for any severe weather is over. So this is not a threat that's going to continue tonight. In fact, we're fine in Cincinnati now. It is the eastern half of our viewing area that we're most concerned with this line of storms that gets these little waves along it. And with those waves that develop, we can get brief spin-up tornadoes that come out of this. So coming in again, concentrating on what's going on, we've got a big severe thunderstorm warning now that extends all the way from eastern Highland County down into Adams County. That's for winds to 60 miles an hour, just a general warning along that line of storms where we could get some pockets of some stronger winds. Within that line of storms in northern Adams County and southern Highland County, that is where we have a tornado warning for a Doppler radar indicated tornado. So there's no confirmation that we have a tornado here, but this is Doppler radar indicated. So we come in a little tighter here. And again, we've been calling out Jessup, Folsom. These are the areas where the circulation is currently located. So if you're in those locations, that's where you should be in your safe spot right now, just in case. Ride this thing out. Again, as I mentioned before, even if we get a tornado developing here, you're not going to be able to see it. So don't go looking for this thing because it'll be rain wrapped. It'll be brief. So it's not something you're going to be able to see by any stretch of the imagination. But right in this location here, riding just out of Adams County, just across the line into Highland County, that is where the circulation is currently located. And these are the locations that we actually have concern with right now for a possible tornado. So let me circle. Again, it's this little notch in the wind. You can see how this is straight where these winds meet here, where you got winds going toward the radar and away from the radar. It's kind of a straight line, and then it kind of kinks or buckles right here as you get close to Adams County. So it's right there that we find we can get these brief, small spin-up tornadoes that may touch down, maybe an EF0, maybe an EF1 that's on the ground maybe for a minute, 2 minutes tops. and then the thing lifts back up and it's gone. So that is what the National Weather Service is trying to detect, given our radar technology here that we have, the possibility of a tornado in that location there. So we come in a little tighter here to give you some of the streets here. We got 73 here, we got 785 here. Basically right here where northern Adams County comes together with southern Highland County. So North Uniontown, Elmville, Jessup, if you're in these locations, get to your safe place right now, because that is where we have the possible circulation. And Paul Poteet has some arrival times of that very circulation right now he wants to share with us.
We mentioned Jessup, and so places off to the east of that, when the warning was originally out, it looked like the circulation was moving off to the east at about 30 miles an hour. So that would place it right along State Road 73 through there, moving to the east and possibly into the Elmville area here within the next couple of minutes. So if you're watching us in Elmville, take shelter in your basement right now or the lowest floor wherever you are at this time in Elmville. Brush Creek Township at about 6:10 this evening. Sinking Spring then at 6:12. Kincaid Springs at 6:19 and to Sunfish at 6:22. There's a Western High School that could be in the area of the circulation by about 6:21 this evening. So, John, as it continues to move east, some of the towns that may be in danger.
All right, breaking right now, Paul, brand new tornado warning has come out for southeastern Adams County. This is going to run until 6:30. They've carried that tornado warning for the storm in Lewis County over into southeastern Adams County and out through Scioto County. So this is a brand new tornado warning that is going to run until 6:30 for southeastern sections of Adams County, Ohio, with that storm that is now coming out of Lewis County. So let's concentrate on that one right now. And we've got a defined circulation here coming out of Lewis County. It's a weak circulation, but it's defined. And there it is. This is south of Stout in Adams County. They're crossing the river, but this is Lewis County, Vanceburg right here. This is going to cross back over the Ohio River and impact portions of southeastern Adams County. So we can give you a track on this particular circulation. There it is. And we'll show you some of the spots that this thing is going to impact as it carries into southeastern Adams County here. And quite frankly, there aren't a lot of towns out here. This is a very rural part of the viewing area here. So Twin Creek Mission Historical Church there. It's 617. If you know where that is, it's a historical location here. So there may not actually be anything there, but this is southeastern Adams County. So this circulation in Lewis County is going to cross back over the river, cross over 52 here, and come up into rural sections of southeastern Adams County, where we have a brand new tornado warning that is going to go until 6:30. I want to give you another track here that takes into account a little more of the broad circulation that we have there, and it'll probably capture a few more locations, hopefully. So yeah, so there's some more of the locations. Again, this is a very sparsely populated part of the viewing area here, but Stout around 6:07, Sandy Springs around 6:11, and again, there's the Twin Creek Mission historical location there that is on the map. The far southeastern portion of Adams County, again, under a tornado warning for another Doppler radar indicated tornado until 6:30. So if you are here in rural sections of southeastern Adams County, take shelter. This is just outside of Squirreltown there, so you're southeast of there is where the polygon is. So technically right in the center of Squirreltown there, you're not in this tornado warning. But areas southeast of there, you are under a brand new tornado warning that goes until 6:30. Lowest level of your home, again, if you got a basement, that's where you want to go. At the very least here, you've got intense lightning, intense rainfall coming through these locations now, coming out of Lewis County, crossing right over the Ohio River into Adams County. And again, it's a situation, even if we get a tornado spinning up out of this, you're not going to see it. It's going to be rain wrapped because there's intense rain that is coming through that location in southeastern Adams County right now. But that tornado warning officially goes until 6:30. Coming back up here, checking in again on this storm that's coming across northern Adams County and southern Highland County, where we currently have a tornado warning in effect. We still have that bend that we're seeing here along this line of storms. And when you see those bends, that is an indication to us that a tornado is certainly possible. And as we come into the winds here, winds going toward the radar, away from the radar, right here, I mean, this is kind of riding the northern part of Adams County and the southern part of Highland County. It's right in that location there that we have a possible tornado. So we could circle that again and give you some arrival times of where this is kind of coming together. So that's the location where we're seeing the rotation. And as we take this across sections of Highland County, southern Highland County, Duckard Ridge Church there around 613, Elmville around 615, Cedar Chapel 618, Brush Creek Township 620, Lincolnville 621, and Fort Hill State Memorial around 622. A possible tornado. If you're in these locations, if you're near these locations, just get to the lowest level of your home, wait for this thing to pass. You know, hopefully we do not get a tornado spinning down out of this thing, but it is possible given the radar signature that we're seeing right now. And Paul has kind of a good map again showing us where the tornado warning polygons are, where the severe thunderstorm warning polygons are. It's all about the polygons with these things, Paul.
That's right. You got to respect the polygon. The red ones, obviously, are the tornado warnings, and even the orange one, which is a broad area that's under a severe thunderstorm warning. From what I'm seeing there, there's still what's called a tag on that says it's a possible tornado, which indicates that the storm still exhibits some signs of rotation, not enough to fire up a tornado warning. But in this whole area, where you see these wavy storms around right now, and these little plenty of lightning. My gosh, look at that one down toward the outside of our viewing area to the southeast around Charters. That is nasty. And where you see it waving around like this is the area where we have all of these severe thunderstorm warnings in place. The tornado warnings that we have in place, they both go until 6:30. And again, you know, we had a situation here where part of it was originally out of our viewing area, but now back into our viewing area for portions of at least a corner of Adams County. Both of these go until 6:30 this evening. There's the regular radar data that shows the intensity of the particles coming back from the air, the precipitation targets from the air, and we'll look again at some of the rotation, the tornado warning that's up around Elmville and Jessup. They've trimmed the western portion of that as that continues to move off to the east. So I really need to update this little circle that you see here because it's moved off a little farther to the east now. I would say in Jessup, probably a little bit of an all clear through there. In that area right around Elmville and over, say, towards Sinking Spring and Brush Creek Township, anywhere along here and just to the east and to the northeast at this time, those would be some of the biggest areas of concern where you'd want to be into your safe place at this time. We'll zoom out and give you a little broader view into that area again, and that would be off eventually to the east if it holds together, perhaps toward Brush Creek Township. In addition to Elmville. That's one area of circulation. And then down to the south, this again has moved off to the east here in just the last little bit. So let's show you this and highlight some of the areas where, again, we could be seeing some potential problems. Rockville and also into McGaw. That's a tornado warning also that goes until 6:30 this evening for at least a corner of Adams County. And you may hear another little ding going off there, so we'll double check where we've got a tornado warning until now, John, 6:45 this evening, so it's been extended for Adams County and Highland County. So to go back to the big chart here, so maybe you can get your bearings a little more easily, the tornado warning that's in place for portions of Adams County and Highland County now, you can see where they've extended it out, where we're just looking at the circulation going off to the east. So this is a new one. This one's going to go until 6:45 this evening to the north and northeast of Peebles, going off to the east. That's a tornado warning that's now in place until 6:45. The one that shows you 6:30, that was the one that was in play earlier. And then we have another tornado warning down to the southeast. That one goes until 6:30. So the rotation is definitely persistent with all of these cells as they march along in that little line that's waving back and forth right now. So these are the places, say to the east of Brush Creek Township now. If you want to go back and look at that on the radar here, we'll show you some of the rotation in that area. First of all, we'll zoom out here so you can get your bearings a little more. We've been looking earlier in places, I think I may be stuck here for a second, John, in just a second here. We'll see up in the area around Brush Creek Township. And you can see it to the north of Bratton Township there, North Uniontown, Elmville, just to the east there, where we have some brighter reds and greens coming together. And some of the roadways around there, we've got 124 Harriet Road there to get your bearings. That's Elmville Road right around Elmville, and then this is over towards Sinking Spring. So these areas, and then off to the east, where we're seeing those little kinks in the both the reflectivity, the regular radar data that we show you, and then also the measurement of winds, the depiction of the winds that are going to or from the radar target at this time. So a new tornado warning. It goes until 6:45, and John, it's parts of Highland and Adams County. So we got another 40 or another half hour conceivably in those two counties as this continues to march off to the east. You can see the little the bend in the line there, and then just off to the east of that, this is the whole area of the very new tornado warning. And so because of that circulation expected to last possibly off to the east, if you're watching us in Poplar Grove or Byington, I guess we're getting off maybe toward the end of our viewing area at some point there.
Yeah, getting close to that. You know, and I think it's worth pointing out too, Paul, that along this line of storms, there are several little areas of rotation that may spin up one of these brief, small tornadoes. So within this tornado warning polygon here, I've kind of marked a couple areas of concern here coming again across northern parts of Adams County, where you're under a tornado warning now, and that's going to carry out until 6:45, and then traveling across the county line there up here into Highland County, very close to North Uniontown, Brush Creek Township, another little area of circulation. So we're marking those areas of circulation. We can kind of give you a track across the entire thing. Because there are multiple areas of circulation within this whole polygon. So as we look at this and kind of track it off to the east, some of the places that will be possibly impacted include Brush Creek Township around 617, Fort Hill State Memorial, we've called that out a few times, around 619, Byington around 630, Newfane 630, Arco around 635, Western High School 637, Sunfish 638, that's in Adams County, Elm Grove at 644. So those are some of the spots, again, that could be impacted by this area of storms, this line of storms that's moving across, that has multiple places where we're seeing circulation along it, which could potentially drop a brief, small tornado. And that's what we're talking about here. We don't have confirmation of a tornado that's on the ground. We don't have any confirmation that a tornado has touched down anywhere right now. What we're seeing are Doppler radar indications of circulation along a line of storms that could potentially produce a brief, small tornado. And by what we mean by saying brief is if one develops, might only be on the ground a minute or two tops before it lifts here. So that's why the Weather Service, out of an abundance of caution, has issued this tornado warning. Again, it's in effect for Adams County, northern Adams County, and southern Highland County. Expiration is going to be between 6:30 and 6:45, depending on location, because we're dealing with a couple of different tornado warnings right now. But if you're anywhere in these locations or near these locations, just play it safe here. This doesn't mean we have a tornado. It means there's a potential for one. So just get to the center portion of your home, the lowest floor. If you have a basement, go there. Middle of your house, away from windows, and a small interior room. If you don't have a basement, like a bathroom or closet without windows, and just wait for this thing to pass by to play it safe here, because we could get a tornado dropping out of this line of storms at any point here, coming through Highland County and northern parts of Adams County, where that tornado warning is in effect. Surrounding that, again, you've got a severe thunderstorm warning that does extend up here through Highland County all the way down into Adams County for winds to 60 miles per hour. And they've been tagging that with the tornado possible tag, meaning that, yeah, maybe there's a circulation that pops up outside of one of these tornado warning polygons that produces a brief tornado. That is indeed a possibility here, but the Weather Service, in their best effort, is trying to give you an idea of where these tornadoes are going to be possible. All right, good news, southeastern Adams County, they've lifted you from the tornado warning now, so that's good news. You're still under the severe thunderstorm warning. The worst of that storm, the circulation, is now moving off to the east right now, out of Adams County. So that is some good news there. Southeastern Adams County, you're now out of the tornado warning. Scioto County, though, you're going to continue with that tornado warning until 6:30 this evening. So the circulation now out of southeastern Adams County. It is passed to the east there. So that is good news. That circulation exiting our viewing area right now, but we still have the tornado warning to the north that we're keeping an eye on here for southern parts of Highland County. This does not include the Hillsborough area, and this does include northern parts of Adams County. And I want to point out this tornado warning does not include Peebles. It is north of Peebles, Bratton Township, Poplar Grove. Those are the areas under this tornado warning now. So Peebles, you're not included. Hillsborough, you are not included in the tornado warning. It's north of Peebles, it's south of Hillsborough is the location that we're most concerned with right now, where we have this tornado warning polygon in effect. So Brush Creek Township, Elmville, Bratton Township, Poplar Grove, Marshall, you're right on the edge of it. Those are the locations that you need to be in your safe place right now. Lowest level of your home, basement, if you've got one. Paul Poteet is looking at the velocity signature, and it looks like a squiggly line, Paul. You look at that thing, it's like somebody took a marker and just squiggled all over it. And it's those squiggles that are the concern.
That's indicating where the winds are obviously showing signs of turning, which is what you don't want to see eventually on the ground. Just because you see circulation from the radar, it may not be something that ever reaches the ground. We hope it isn't. And you mentioned that the severe thunderstorm warning that covers a broad area right now has what's called the tornado possible tag on it, and it looks like maybe there's a little bit of circulation trying to come together in this area. Otway, again, we're moving out of our viewing area, but you can see some of that, maybe off to the east of Peebles at this time, where there's a little indentation there. There's no tornado warning there at this time. The tornado warning that is in place still for a part of our viewing area, we've been tracking this ever since over around Jessup here. That circulation moving past Elmville, and it's now in the area around just to the north of Sinking Spring and to the east of Brush Creek Township at this time. So if you are watching us anywhere in that area, say along Ohio 41 and then over to the north of Lincolnville, this is Cynthiana Road 506 up here, the road that's moving off to the left to the right there. Looks like we've got some signs, the brighter, we're looking for the brighter green. There's an updated scan there. You can see it moved up just a little bit to the north and northeast. So it's in that area, say just to the north of Sinking Spring, and then to the north and northeast of Lincolnville, again along 41, and then moving off to the east-northeast, Newfane, which would, again, we're tracking these as they move to the very edge of local 12 land. That's the reason for the tornado warning right now. That's the strongest circulation that we see at this time. You look for the brightest reds on this particular scan here, and you can certainly see it right there where the polygon is in place. So that was the warning that was in place, and then they extended it on off to the east. That's the one that goes until 6:45. That's the only tornado warning that we're tracking right now, but there are severe thunderstorm warnings that are in place for those of you watching in Peebles all the way down toward Squirreltown. That particular warning, the severe thunderstorm warning, goes until I think 6:30 or that goes till 7 o'clock, the severe thunderstorm warning that's in place there. The red that you see by the town called Nile, that's out of the local 12 viewing area. So our concentration right now is for you folks, especially Elmville, Bratton Township perhaps still, and Brush Creek Township, and then over eventually to Byington, Poplar Grove, Laparelle. That's a town I know that's out of our viewing area, because I don't know if I've ever said that one before, John. But if you have friends there and you're watching us in the eastern part of our viewing area, certainly let them know that the circulation may be coming their way too.
Yeah, storm tracking is always an adventure in geography, for
right.
sure. I just want to give you the big view right now. We're going to stay with this a few more minutes until these tornado warnings have cleared our area of responsibility. Back in Cincinnati, we're fine, just some showers. Once this line of storms gets out of our viewing area, and that's going to happen in minutes, there's no more severe weather threat the rest of the night, so that's the good news. Dave Slater, our producer, tells me that the Brown County has canceled all of their fair-related activities tonight because of the storms that have been moving through there. And again, I feel for the folks in Brown County. We've been in a drought. The weather's been great to have a fair, and then now the first day of fall, here we are with severe weather. But the last of those storms continues to move through southeastern Highland County now and through Adams County. So it's just this area that we're concentrating on right now for the remaining storms that is posing not only a high wind threat of winds of 60 miles an hour, but also the threat for a brief spin-up tornado. So once these storms get out of the area in minutes here, that is the end of the severe weather threat for the rest of tonight. Now, Wednesday, we might have another severe weather threat coming back, and that's something we're going to keep an eye on. At the very least, by Wednesday, the threat for more heavy rainfall. But we will concentrate again on these storms, which are now exiting southeastern Highland County and northeastern Adams County, where we continue right now with a tornado warning that is in effect here for places like Brush Creek Township, Poplar Grove, right on the edge of this right now. So if you're in those places, you should still be in your safe spot right now, whether that's a basement, whether that's the middle portion of your house away from windows in an interior room without windows like a closet, or like a small bathroom that doesn't have windows, for instance, on the lowest floor. So just wait this thing out another few minutes. It still has circulation with it. And again, as we look here into southeastern Highland County, coming down here into northern parts of Adams County, we've still got that circulation right on the edge of the viewing area right now. And there's a couple little spots here that we are seeing the circulation. So it's right on the edge of our viewing area, right here, and again, right about there. So those are the spots that could be producing a brief, small tornado. One that maybe drops down, it's on the ground a minute, 2 minutes tops, maybe 3, and then it moves on. So right on the edge of the viewing area is the locations that we're focusing on for that possible tornado at this point. So we can give you, again, another track as I look at these winds along this line here. And this is going to carry off to the east out of our viewing area. So Byington, Sunfish, Laparelle, Western High School, Elm Grove, Idaho, Buchanan School, and Pebble, all in the path of this circulation. I know we've got some viewers out here just outside the viewing area that are keeping track of this. These are the spots, again, where we could get a brief tornado spinning up as this circulation continues to move off. It's moving off to the east very slowly. I think 25, 30 miles an hour is the forward speed of this line of storms. So right on the edge of the viewing area. And there's the latest scan, Paul, that has just come through here. So we can update again the locations that these things are moving. Arco, Sunfish, Western High School, Elm Grove, Idaho, Pebble, Van Meter, and Buchanan School, the locations that will see these circulations moving through. So if you're in or around any of these spots, get to the lowest level of your home, get to your basement if you have one. Possible tornado moving through these locations right now. So far, again, and I don't know if you've seen it, I haven't seen anything, Paul, but so far I've seen no confirmation that we've had any damage or anything touched down, which is great.
No reports from spotters, no reports from amateur radio operators at this time that any of those various circulations that we have been tracking have reached the ground. And so that's the good news. And as you said, it's just about to move out of our primary coverage area here at WKRC and off to the east. So right there on the county line to the north of Sinking Spring and off to the east, that's where we see the strongest winds right now. So we're almost coming up here on 6:30, and let me give you a broad view of the watches and the warnings that are in place. Well, they're all warnings, but the tornado warnings and the severe thunderstorm warnings that are in place for that corner of Highland and Adams County. And the tornado warning that remains at this time, that's the one to the west, that western section of it that we first reported on. That should end here in just a few moments. I imagine that they're going to let that expire. In the meantime, what we've been tracking to the east of that is in place until 6:45 this evening. Let me double check that. 6:45 this evening, and again, that eventually goes out of the viewing area. This is this portion off to the east. So that's the tornado warning situation. Anywhere else that you see in orange right there indicates an area that's under under a severe thunderstorm warning at this time. And then again, out of our viewing area, there's another tornado warning where this thing is still spinning off to the southeast. These warnings still from Peebles down to Squirreltown have a situation, John, where they possibly could produce a tornado at any time, but not at the moment.
Yeah, and so Paul, coming up here at 6:30, we are going to leave coverage of this because the threat is moving out of our viewing area. We will continue, though, to run additional information either at the bottom or the top of your screen. But for now, we're going to join CBS Evening News. We'll continue to keep an eye on this line of storms, though, as it exits the area. Three, two, one. The first day of autumn featured severe weather, and we may not be done with the severe weather this week. I'm tracking more rain, more storms, and even potentially some strong storms. We'll time it all out coming up in your Weather Authority forecast.